Hello and welcome to Real Opinions, and today I'm going to be reviewing Batman v Superman: Dawn of Justice, the Ultimate Edition. Yay! Yay! Warner Brothers can't make good films the first time round. Now we need them to be 3 hours to make sense. Quick disclaimer. I kind of half liked Batman v Superman the first time around. I was like right in the middle, so when everyone was getting so passionate about it and so polarized, I was like, yeah, you're both kind of right. So, Batman v Superman the Ultimate Edition adds about 30 minutes to the film and sort of rearranges the order slightly. Some of the additions are just lines here and there, and some are full scenes. And most of it is story related, which, I gotta say, helps this film immensely. I mean, I'm struggling off the top of my head to think of an extended cut that has benefited a film this much. I'm not saying that this makes Batman v Superman into a great movie, but it improves it so much. The additions that we have here clarify so many things, they fix plot holes, they develop characters, they expand upon motivations, and just make the storytelling so much more coherent. So what kind of additions do we actually have? Well, for one thing, there's probably the biggest improvement for me was the actual development of Superman's motivations. In the original cut, we know why Batman wants to fight Superman, but all we get from the other side is that Clark Kent disagrees vaguely with Batman's methods, which always felt very hypocritical coming from the man who knocked skyscrapers over on top of people. But in this version, we get to see Clark Kent go around as a reporter, which is something else that I quite like. We got to see him be a reporter, and he goes around like the lower class areas of Gotham, talking to the people who are frightened of Batman, who have been impacted by Batman. We also see this scene where they mention it in the film, but it's different when you see it. The brand that Batman forces on people, that he burns on them, it was referred to as like a kiss of death. A death sentence in prison, and in this you get to see that Lex Luthor has been paying inmates to kill people with the Bat brand on them, so that Superman will get pissed off at Batman for basically being a judge, jury, and executioner. And you get to see this play out in a prison, and it just helps the storytelling so much. You also get a bit more time with the dude in the wheelchair. He gets sort of elaborated upon a bit more. All of Lex Luthor's plan is cleared up. All of it from the initial, we're going to frame Superman by shooting people thing, which made no sense before. Now we know that in this cut, that Lex Luthor's mercenaries burnt the bodies to make it look like Superman heat visioned everyone to death. Okay, good. The story now makes more sense. Why did you cut that out? It was a 2-second shot, and it now cleared everything up so much. We know more about the wheelchair bombing. We know more about his general plan overall. There's a whole bit with this character that was only on only one of the hearings before, who now has like an expanded subplot about how Lex Luthor basically bribed her to say bad things about Superman, and her thing helps kind of clear up some more of the coincidences in the story, and it also helps to articulate this theme that Batman is basically only judging Superman through the media. Apart from that initial shot where he sees him flying over Metropolis as he's destroying it all. Everything that Batman hates about Superman, he's learnt from TV. And in this cut, that stuff makes a lot more sense because you're seeing how Lex Luthor's manipulating the media with bribing people and with staging things. So all that makes a lot more sense. As I said, Superman's motivation makes a lot more sense too. They add in something that might address the whole violence issue for some people too, where there's a lot of more stuff with Alfred going like, Batman, you're going too far. This is getting ridiculous. Okay, he doesn't ever explicitly say you shouldn't be killing people, but he does say you're going too far. Again, how much does that help the film? How much does that help the film? Lois Lane is much more properly implemented, because she also starts to have like a proper investigation into Lex Luthor's plan, which is why she ends up getting kidnapped by Lex Luthor, which isn't the way it happens in the film. In the original cut of the film, she just sort of gets kidnapped because she's Superman's girlfriend. But in this version of the film, she's been digging around in Lex Luthor's plot. And it also involves Gina Malone, who we all knew was in the film but had been cut out. She helps Lois Lane in this investigation. Again, it just helps clarify so much of the storytelling. I really don't know why some of this stuff was cut. I really don't. Especially when there's all these needless dream sequences still. There's more stuff to do with Batman and Superman's relationships with their mothers, which makes the whole Martha reveal feel less out of nowhere in this cut. There are some extra action sequences too, if you like your action. There's a bit where Superman smashes a drone. There's a bit, the whole bit in the foreign country at the beginning is expanded a bit. And there's also a bit, it's very brief, but it actually shows you when Batman steals the kryptonite, which they never did in the original version. In the original version, you saw his failed attempt to get the kryptonite, but not his actual attempt. In this version, you see security footage of him like taking out Luthor's guys, and it's very Arkham stealth sections. Loved that bit. It was great. Very brief, but it just helped me understand the story a little bit more. I don't understand why they were so against clarity and development when they were putting together their theatrical cut. Because they filmed all the stuff we complained about, all the stuff that we needed to make the story make sense is actually here. They just decided to cut it out later. You've probably seen it on YouTube by now, but they also elaborate upon Lex Luthor's cryptic warning at the end of the film when he's going ding 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 ding. They show you that he's talking to an alien. They show you that he's been talking to an alien and that he knows what's coming. And again, you're like, oh great, now that makes sense too. Why did you cut these things? I don't get it. The special features on the Blu-ray are also quite good. I was impressed. They cover everything from, there's some quite technical ones, there's also some stuff that's talking about the characters and the themes, all of which I found quite helpful. They helped me enjoy the film even more. There's a bit on Lex Luthor in particular that kind of elaborates more upon their take of Lex Luthor. They sort of show how it actually isn't that unfaithful from the original conception of the character, and they talk about why he hates Superman and what his motivation is, and it really kind of helped me like Jesse Eisenberg's interpretation of the character way more. There's stuff about how they built the Batmobile, there's stuff about how they did the fight. A good mix in these special features between kind of fluffy stuff about how everyone was great and the cast were great and Zack Snyder's such a visionary, and then actual in-depth stuff, and then stuff about the comic books. There's a nice bit actually talking about the future installments of DC. It's basically a promotion for their future films, but it was good. You got Jeff Johns talking about it, the person who knows what he's actually talking about, and that was great because he sort of talked about a few things in detail that were actually interesting for someone who likes comic books. He was talking about how it felt good for him to have like a grey suit Batman now instead of the sort of tactical armor one that we'd had for the last few films. And it's like, oh yeah, I didn't think about that. That is actually quite cool. So yeah, overall, this cut of the film is vastly superior, mainly in storytelling terms, but also in characterization terms, and there's a few more cool action sequences and visuals. I thoroughly recommend it to, if nothing else, to see it as an experiment, to sort of see just how much an edit of a film can change it, because this feels even tonally like a slightly different film. It feels like a less grim, a less, dark, ponderous film. When you have all the information, it feels like when you have all the information, it feels more like a proper superhero film, because you see how Lex Luthor's been pulling the strings behind certain things a bit more. And it just makes the whole thing feel a little less grim. It really changes the film, and I think, if nothing else, you should satisfy your curiosity by just seeing this. But also, it genuinely improves it. So there you go. I would give this cut of the film, it depends. As a film itself, I'd probably give this a low 8 out of 10. But as a cut, as an improvement upon the original, it's an amazing improvement. But still, I think, as an overall film, I would give the Ultimate Edition of Batman v Superman an 8 out of 10, and the Blu-ray material is very good. So if you're interested in the making of the film and stuff, then it's all there.